In this video, I'm going to be tasting and discussing with you fortified wines. A fortified wine is a still wine whose alcoholic content has been raised dramatically by the addition of a distilled spirit either during fermentation or after fermentation is complete. These wines were created to eliminate the issue of wine spoilage on long voyages on sailing ships. The alcoholic content of these wines can range between 15 and 20% and sometimes higher. Due to the fact that the distilled spirit can be added either during fermentation or after fermentation is complete, you can have both sweet and dry versions of these wines. The dry versions are often used as before dinner drinks or aperitifs, while the sweeter versions are used as after dinner drinks or dessert wines. These wines are served chilled 50 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit, with the drier versions in the low range and the sweeter versions in the higher range of temperature. They're served in a dessert wine glass, as these are sipping wines and should be served in small portions. You can decant these wines or not, it's entirely up to you, and these wines will age dramatically for many, many years. The most common fortified wines are Madeira, Marsala, port, and sherry. These wines are made throughout the known wine-producing world today. However, originally they were produced in very discrete and distinct geographic locations. Madeira was originally created on the Madeira Islands, owned by Portugal on the western coast of Morocco, and Morocco was in northwest Africa. Marsala was created on the island of Sicily and is named after the Sicilian port of Marsala. Port was created in the Douro Valley of Portugal and is named after the Portuguese city of Oporto. And sherry was made in the Andalusian region of Spain. And the name sherry is actually an English version of the city of Jerez in Andalusia. In the areas where these wines originated, they've been making these wines for hundreds of years, and there are strict regulations on how the wines can be made. Things that are regulated are the distilled spirit that can be used, the base wine that can be used, the alcohol and residual sugar levels, and also the processes used to make the wines. Let's talk about the four common fortified wines, starting with Madeira. To fortify Madeira, brandy is used and added either during fermentation or after fermentation is complete. Once the wine is fortified, very unique to Madeira, the wine is also heated. It can be heated in one of two ways. The wine can be placed in steel tanks. The steel tanks are heated, thus heating the wine. This can take 3 to 4 months. Or it can be heated in oak barrels, exposed to the sun, and that can take up to 4 years. The heating oxidizes the wine, and the oxidation imparts caramel and roasted nut flavors to the wine. Quality of Madeira is indicated in two ways. First, how is it heated? If it's heated by the sun in oak barrels, it's of a higher quality. And then aging is the last quality indicator. It can age 5 to 20 years before being bottled in oak casks. The longer it's in the oak casks prior to bottling, the higher the quality. Marsala is also fortified using brandy, added either during fermentation or after fermentation. Dry and semi-dry Marsala wines are often used as cooking wines. Marsala comes in 3 colors: amber, ruby, and gold. Quality is indicated on how long the wine has aged, and it can age 1 to 10 years. The longer it ages, the higher the quality. Marsala has flavors of vanilla, toffee, and tobacco. Port wine is fortified using grape spirit or distilled grape wine. Port wine is the most popular fortified wine, and it's typically a sweet, dark red wine, but does come in dry and semi-dry styles. Many vineyards in Portugal still crush the grapes used to make port by human foot. The grapes are harvested and placed in large, square concrete vats. The human crushers climb into the vat and create 2 lines on opposite sides of the vat. They link arms, and with the aid of rhythmic music In a coordinated fashion, they tread back and forth to the middle of the vat, crushing the grapes and releasing the juice. This is known as the cut. As the juice accumulates over a couple of hours, a second part of the crush starts called Liberty. In Liberty, the free-run juice is really accumulated a lot and is really starting to ferment, and we are starting to have fermented wine now. As the wine accumulates, some of that wine is siphoned off and moved into another container where the grape spirit is waiting to fortify it. Port quality depends on aging as well, and there are two types of aging for port: barrel aging and bottle aging. With barrel aging, the aging can last from 2 to 40 plus years. Bottle aging is a little bit different. Some ports are ready to drink as soon as they're bottled. Others require additional aging in the bottle, and that aging can last up to another 50 years. Flavors for port are raspberry, blackberry, caramel, and chocolate. Sherry wine is made from Palomino grapes, which is a white grape. The juice from the Palomino grapes is fermented completely dry, so all sherry start out as dry wines. Brandy is then added to the wine to fortify it. There are 3 styles of sherry: dry, sweet, and cream. Dry sherries have flavors of salt, yeast, and nuts. Sweet sherries have sugar added to them after the fortification takes place. They have flavors of fruitcake. Cream sherries are also sweet wines, so sugar is added after fortification, but they have flavors of caramel and nuts. Let's taste our fortified wine. I'm going to be tasting a port that was produced in the Douro Valley in Portugal. This is Graham's 6 Grapes Reserve Port. Let's take a look at brilliance and clarity. Very clear and very brilliant, a very nice looking wine. It's a deep dark red color as expected. Let's swirl our wine and take a sniff. Oh, definitely some cherries and real intense chocolate smell. Let's try a taste. Oh, it's like eating a dark chocolate covered cherry. A lot of cherry and a lot of chocolate. Body is definitely full. Alcohol for this particular port is 19.5%. Acidity is up there, but I'm going to say it's probably medium plus, somewhere in the middle between medium and high. I'm going to say medium plus. Sweet, it's very sweet. Like I said, it's like eating a dark chocolate or drinking a dark chocolate cherry. Tannins, medium, and I think that's due to the grapes that it's made with. Balance, a very nicely balanced port. I mean, this is quite delicious. I would highly recommend it. Food pairings, I think this would go with something chocolate, like a chocolate mousse, chocolate cake, chocolate cheesecake. I just may have it with some chocolate truffle ice cream a little later. Overall, this is an excellent, excellent port. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our discussion of fortified wines. As you can see, there are a whole variety of them. Port being the most popular, but I would tell you, if you really want the opportunity to taste some really nice wines, I'd try a couple of these and see what you like. Well, in my next video, I'm going to be going over orange wines. I hope you join me then. And as always, raise a glass and have a drink.